What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we're returning to the original Gundam novel, Mobile Suit Gundam Awakening. Last time, Dozel and Kycilia argued about Char during Garma's funeral, while Giran gave his eulogy. Char went to the Flanagan Institute and was reunited with Lala, and the Federation preps for Operation Star 1. This time, the Battle of Texas Zone begins. Makuve and his fleet takes on the 13th Autonomous Fleet, and Amado has a psychic link with Lala. So let's get into this. Char departs from Side 6. They're heading out to test the Elmith bits. He explains Psychomu Tech, but the one thing that he focuses on is the fact that it is free of Minovsky particle disruption. He wonders the potential of the new type Psychomu technology. Quick cut to that scene of the unicorns tanking a colony laser. Flanagan refers to it as willpower waves. It could be something that can be isolated and thus amplified. As he looks at Lala on the bridge at the Zanzibar, he wonders if he would be able to pilot the Elmith. Lala answers, saying of course. Her senses are finely tuned, but he doesn't like this habit of hers and leaves the room. Lala thinks of Char's broad shoulders and wishes he would embrace her. Wait, what? Broad shoulders? Hey man, I like Char and think he's a great villain, but broad shoulders? He's a lanky-ass skinny boy. Do people in Japan think our Lord and Savior Kira Yamato is a broad boy? I am a Western medium, but a Japanese large, so it is possible. Broad shoulders. Get out of here. Using her new type powers, she has probed his mind and felt something dark, but with clear intent and purpose. It is a purpose that shows he can never live a normal life. Whenever he probes deeper, he is able to shut her out. This ability in itself shows that Char is a strong new type. She thinks that to the commander, she is just a means to an end. For the moment, she seems to be okay with that. Amado is now an officer and should be eating in the officers' quarters, but he eats with the NCOs out of habit. He passes by Midai before entering the chow hall. He comments on her figure and notes how she is the most popular Waves. Remember, Waves is women accepted for volunteer emergency service and was a part of the Naval Reserve during World War II. They are mirroring that in the Federation. He then sees Sayla from a distance. He has never actually met her. He has only communicated with her on the comms while in his mobile suit. He asks if he could join her. She seems to forget his name, and Amado notes that communication officers should know everyone's names. He slams his food tray down too hard and makes his first interaction awkward. He cuts the tension by saying that he used to see her at the Side 7 library back in the day before he joined the military. This causes her to actually smile. He said that he thought about going to the library again to see her before leaving for the military. She wonders if he really is a new type. He remembers her past where General told her that he must become a new type and overthrow the Zabi family. She always hated these lectures from her foster father. She asks him if he knows what new types are. He doesn't believe in magic powers and doesn't like how the Zabis use new types as a form of propaganda. Ooh, that really turned Sayla on. Yeah, that did it for her. The opposite of my father figure. But he also says that the bureaucratic nonsense of the Federation is also a huge problem, and he doesn't mind if that collapses as well. He says that once people get into power, they forget about the people. She thinks that Amado thinks exactly like her father, Xian Daikun. She then tries to speak to him telepathically. Of course, Amado didn't respond to her new type message, but while reaching out to him, she could sense that this guy is a virgin. Ew, what a loser. So gross. Orbiting Texas Colony is Makuve's Chevet-class ship. When Char's Zanzibar comes in, he sends a Morse code message to Makuve's ship saying good luck in battle. He tells Urigane to send a message back saying, we await triumphant return of the Red Comet and the Elmith. Go in glory. Makuve calls Char Kycilia's pet, while Char calls him a man who should chase skirts. They are both just slinging their dicks at one another. The Zanzibar docks with Texas Colony, while Makuve awaits Joaquin's 13th Autonomous Fleet heading their way. On the Pegasus, Marker Clan spots the Chevet. They assume level 2 battle stations. Sayla tells the mobile suit teams to be on standby. It takes about 30 seconds for the crew to attach the beam rifles and shield. The Gundam takes an even shorter amount of time to get ready. Marker yells out 11 Zakus. 1 minute out. Sayla relays this to the pilots. They are outnumbered. Bright yells to launch. With them are 6 public attack ships. The gun cannon, the Gundam, and the 2 gems launch. 1 public launches missiles and breaks the Zaku's formation. The other 5 publics don't waste their main payload and use its 6-tube missile launcher instead. The Zaku's get in close and the mobile suit team moves in. Amado barely misses an attack from the Zaku's hyper bazooka. In the novel, a lot of mobile suit tactics involve moving in and out of someone's orbit, and space in general is just more vast. It's kind of like asteroid fields, how you think they're very close, but in reality they're far away from one another. Something is coming 5 kilometers away. He aims his beam rifle and fires, hitting the Zaku. He turns around to find more mobile suits approaching Joaquin's ship. He rushes towards a command Zaku who was about to fire on the fleet, but Amado shoots first, taking out another mobile suit. He mentions that the computer readout will transfer to the core block system if anything goes wrong with the Gundam. Another Zaku comes in. Amado barely dodges the attack. The Zaku comes in again with the Heat Hawk. Amado fires his beam rifle at point-blank range, killing the pilot. His beam rifle is out of juice, and he dumps it and pulls out the beam saber. 3 mobile suits down. He rushes into close combat range as 2 Zakus approach. He slices through one. The other deflects, but Amado is able to eventually slice through his Heat Hawk. 5 down. Ryu and the Gym apparently took out 2 mobile suits. The remaining 4 Zakus retreat. They lost 2 public-class ships, and 4 were damaged. However, he gets back to the deck where only Kai returned. Ryu was killed in action. Amado notes that there are only 3 of the original 5 cadets left. Hayato yells at Kai for not bringing back Ryu, and the two begin fighting. Amado's mind is racing, but his body is quite calm. He lays in a recliner and simply tells Hayato to wake him if anything happens. Zeon is planning on sending reinforcements, but they are trying to figure out if EFF's play is to push towards Granada or Solomon. They note the superb performance of the Pegasus and Joaquin's Magellan, the HAL. The 13th detected an enemy fleet coming from Granada to Texas zone. Joaquin sends Amado out once again. It has been non-stop lately. However, while this is happening, they are unaware that Char is already in Texas colony. Commander Char told Makuve and his fleet that the Pegasus can hold 6 to 8 mobile suits. He knows that they don't have aces and everybody on board must be green. They just need more numbers than them. Sayla gets on the comms and tells Amado that he has to go out on a scouting mission as they lost sight of Zeon's fleet. She tells him that Bright fought to keep him grounded so he could get some rest, while Joaquin is forcing him to launch. He also isn't launching Hayato, and Sayla says it is because Bright only trusts Amado. Sayla has been letting her guard down more around Amado since their conversation in the mess hall. Meanwhile, Hayato is mad, but Kai tells him that they aren't new types and to get used to the life of being just a gun cannon specialist. You're a grunt, deal with it. His pride won't allow him to think that they are these supermen that are better than the rest of humanity. He doesn't care if Revel and Zeon are building new type forces. He simply won't believe it. They ramp up Hayato's pride like crazy in the novel. Dude reeks of desperation. Amado is scouting with 4 public-class ships. As he approaches Texas colony, a beam blast approaches them. He dodges the attack, but the beam clipped and vaporized the bazooka on his back. 2 Musais are now at the Chevet-class ship around Texas. The Gundam fires on one of the Musais. He then fires on the Chevet, but one Musai blocks the ship and is destroyed. 2 Zakus approach him. One fires a rocket into the Gundam's right arm. Getting cocky at taking down a ship allowed him to be vulnerable. The arm still works, but the rifle no longer fires. This is what happens when you care about hand-to-gun authentication procedures. His other arm is holding the shield and is busy. He takes out his beam saber and slices through one Zaku. The other Zaku is nowhere to be found. He finds a hangar on Texas colony and he hides out. This will give him a moment to check out his arm. He parks the Gundam and checks the arm out. There's no quick fix for the damage done. He needs a bazooka. He notes that because the beam rifle requires precision aim, it taxes the pilot more so than a bazooka. One can make instantaneous attacks with a bazooka. Makuve is unable to get a hold of Char within the colony. They are currently under attack and need help of the Zanzibar. Makuve can handle this on his own. He sees the HAL take a hit and it goes up in flames. He praises his mobile suit pilots for taking down Joaquin's flagship. They have to move in on the Pegasus. The Chevet takes a big hit and does a wide turn. The Saffron is in front of the Pegasus. Bright is informed that Hayato took off without permission. He begins yelling on the bridge. He is stressed out by the destruction of the HAL. Sayla tells Hayato to return to the ship immediately. Hayato is an idiot and took off while 2 battleships duke it out. He is stuck in the middle of the crossfire, but he notices the Chevet is badly damaged and goes in to help. He fires on the ship as well as the remaining Musai, which is the Quamel. He is able to hit the aft cannon on the Chevet. The Chevet goes up in flames. The Quamel tries to make its retreat. Pegasus sends a flare for the team to regroup, but Hayato ignores this. The remaining Zaku enters the hangar and begins firing. Amado hides behind a transport ship. He thinks that he could steal the bazooka from the Zaku. He was able to sense the Zaku. While doing so, he sees an image of a girl with emerald green eyes. He wonders, hey, what's this all about? He hears the girl say, "Who are you? And what do you want from me?" He wonders if she is talking to him. He gets his first new type erection before once again sensing the Zaku. The Zaku slices down with its heat hawk. Amado dodges and points his beam rifle, using it as a blunt instrument and striking the Zaku. He then fires his beam rifle, taking out the Zaku and destroying the transport ship he was hiding behind. Before firing, Amado could sense that there was one person on the transport ship, and he decided to fire anyways. Amado feels like that girl in his head is currently judging him. He grabs the bazooka when he gets Sensor again. He senses that her name is Lala Soon. She says that he is too late and is already in love with Char. Amado is too ignorant to realize the new type connection he is currently having. Does she mean the Red Comet? Lala asks him why didn't he reach out earlier. Amado goes, I don't even know what is happening right now. How could I? She says that he has to stop her. At that moment, he thinks that perhaps Sailor was right, and there truly are new types. He is starting to become a believer. That is when he feels a darkness. He could feel Char. And that will do it for this episode. We are finally getting into the weird interpersonal relationships on board the Pegasus that Tomino loves to flesh out. Flesh. I find it funny that Amado and Lala's first interaction is just Amado being very confused. Also, Ryu's death isn't this grand event. Sometimes people just don't come back, and you keep moving on. Next time we will conclude the first part of the Gundam novel, Mobile Suit Gundam Awakening. Amado enters Texas while Lala and Char make their escape. Sailor will run into Char, and Lala and the Elmith goes up against the Gundam. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, even with new type powers, men are oblivious to women coming onto them. Peace.